If you're always tired, losing motivation, can't focus, and your sex drive has vanished, it might not be burnout. It could be low testosterone. Testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, is more popular than ever. There has been a 300 to 400% spike in testosterone prescriptions, and thousands of hormone clinics focused on prescribing testosterone across the USA. But is it safe? And who actually needs it? And why are so many men, even in their 20s and 30s, walking around hormonally wrecked? I thought this was mostly a conservative talking point that wasn't real. But when you look at the research, you look at the data, it absolutely is. And it's becoming a major problem. Today, I'm breaking down what your doctor won't tell you, the real history behind hormone prescriptions, because there's a lot, and how testosterone therapy works for both men and for women, and what you can do to take control of your hormones naturally first, but medically if necessary. Now, before we get into anything else, let's talk about what testosterone is and why it matters. Now, testosterone is the male sex hormone, but that's oversimplifying it. It is arguably the most important hormone in your body for maintaining your health. It has key roles in muscle mass building, strength building, energy, sex drive, erectile function, mood, confidence, focus, bone density, reducing your risk of cognitive decline, reducing your body fat, thereby improving your body composition, improved recovery from training, greater sperm production, reducing inflammation, improving sleep quality, and retaining bone density. Now, it doesn't just play a role, it plays a major role in all of those. If testosterone goes down, your capacity for each of those categories goes down, and that is the vast majority of your productive life. Now, yes, it is used to be jacked and be strong, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. Now, stick around, because it is also absolutely not your shortcut to all the listed benefits in abundance. And like everything else, from CBD oils to hemp to mushrooms to everything that everyone talks about, there is no magic bullet to your health, and this is no different. But even though there's no shortcut, this can be a tremendous tool. Now, testosterone peaks in your early 20s naturally, and from there it gradually declines. But in 2025, we're seeing men in their 20s and 30s with testosterone levels that used to be seen in men over 70. I'm going to share some statistics in a minute, but this isn't just normal aging, it's environmental. The peak testosterone of men is declining, and the decline is happening more rapidly. It's environmental, it's stress, it's diet, it's lifestyle, and it's killing men's health quietly. I personally believe this is the number one problem in men's health that is not being talked about. Now, here's part of the story that nobody talks about. In the early 1990s and early 2000s, estrogen was one of the most commonly prescribed drugs in the USA. Millions of women were on hormone replacement therapy, and this is where hormone replacement therapy started. And this was to manage menopause symptoms. It was totally normal, and it was encouraged. Then in 2002, a big study came out called the Women's Health Initiative that linked estrogen to a slightly increased risk of breast cancer and heart disease. Practically overnight, estrogen prescriptions stopped. Doctors no longer thought that was the best path forward. Now, doctors take an oath to limit the harm that they do. Do no harm is a major one. And they were trying to abide by that, I believe, in most part. I don't believe there's a nefarious thing going on here, but you have to balance what harm you're doing. If you decline to give testosterone replacement therapy or any hormone replacement therapy to someone because of the increased risk of certain types of cancers, what are we guaranteeing? In men, we're guaranteeing testosterone declines. You lose all of those benefits I listed. You lose muscle mass, you lose bone density. Therefore, you could lose independence over the long run. Your energy goes down, your quality of life goes down. And some people, if given the informed decision of it could increase risk of some cancers, but it will prevent these other things from happening, a lot of people would take that trade-off. Now, the fear when they stopped prescribing estrogen bled into hormone therapy in general, including testosterone. Doctors got extremely cautious and public got skeptical. But the kicker is, that study has been reevaluated and heavily criticized for its interpretation. Many researchers now say that the risks were overstated. In the process, we lost a decade or more of progress in hormonal health for both men and for women. Now let's talk numbers. Like I said, I thought testosterone declining was a big sort of talking point about the older generation, how younger men are not as manly as they were before, et cetera, et cetera. I put very little weight in it. But after digging into it, testosterone levels across the population have dropped by 25 to 30% over the last few decades. That means the average 30-year-old man today has testosterone levels that would have been considered low in the 1980s. The problem here is that doctors prescribe testosterone replacement therapy if your testosterone is lower than the general population. And that average is a moving average. So as men get tested more and more often, that average has been shifting downwards. And so now we're just accepting this normal low testosterone level. Now, like I said, this is largely environmental. Part of it is due to sedentary lifestyle. Part of it is due to processed diets. Chronic stress leading to high cortisol tanks your testosterone. Poor sleep is a major problem. Consuming plastics and other endocrine disruptors like plastic food containers, canned foods, processed foods, pesticides, meat, dairy, with added hormones. These are all creating the perfect storm for hormonal collapse. And most men have no idea it's happening. The positive side here, though, is all of those things are modifiable, and you can make changes to inhibit the low testosterone epidemic happening to yourself. And we'll talk about strategies to do that. But each of those categories are things that you can selectively opt out of. You cannot store your food in plastic containers. You cannot drink out of plastic bottles. You cannot have processed foods. This certainly isn't where the story begins and ends, but it's certainly a great starting spot. Now, are you someone who suffers from low testosterone? Well, there's only one way to find out, which is going and getting tested. But here's how low testosterone could show up in your life. You could be exhausted all the time. You might not be able to focus or stay motivated. Your sex drive could be gone. You might have lost strength, muscle, even if you train. You're gaining fat, especially around the waist, a cardinal sign of low testosterone. Your mood is flat, or you feel depressed for really no reason. You have little zest for life. Your sleep isn't very good. And most guys would chalk this up to stress or aging or get up early in the morning or your kids kept you up or a variety of factors that would also explain some of these things. But the truth is that these clinical signs that your hormones may be crashing, and they deserve attention. Because if you can solve those problems, your life gets considerably better today. But more importantly, your life gets considerably better down the track as well. Now, if you go to a regular doctor, you might be told you're in the normal range. Like I said before, this normal range is a shifting average. If your testosterone is about 280, they will say that's normal. Now, let me be clear. 280 is absolutely not optimal. It's barely surviving. Now, here's what you actually need tested. You need to test your total testosterone, as well as your free testosterone, which is the stuff your body could use. You need to test SHBG, LH, FSH, estradiol, and prolactin. They give context about TRT, and it's not just a single number that will tell you that you have a testosterone issue or not. It's about symptoms plus your labs. Now, you can have normal labs on paper and still feel like garbage, but then we can address all of the other lifestyle factors. At least if you got your testosterone checked and all these other hormones checked, and it turns out to be normal, well, thankfully, you now have ruled out something and you don't need medical intervention. You need lifestyle intervention. And lifestyle intervention is always going to be a better option. Now, when should you get tested? Well, to me, if you're over 25 and you have more than 2 or 3 of those symptoms, you should get tested. If you're under 25, your testosterone should be peaking and you should focus on lifestyle factors because there are downsides to taking testosterone that I'm going to get to in a moment. Now, morning blood work fasted, ideally before 10 a.m. is the instructions you're going to get, and that's when testosterone is the highest. Don't guess or don't self-diagnose and don't self-prescribe, but don't ignore any of these things. And you could have to advocate for yourself to your doctor. Now, before we get to any medical intervention, like I said, natural testosterone boosting lifestyle interventions are the best thing that you can do. So before you think about any sort of injections, here's what you should try naturally. And yes, they absolutely do work if you're consistent. First, if you lift heavy weights, compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, overhead presses, bench presses will all contribute to testosterone increasing. If you sleep at least 8 hours a night with a blacked out room, blackout curtains, no screens before bed, or at a minimum, go to your iPhone and shut off blue light for the last few hours before bed, have your room temperature substantially lower than you feel like it. The best way to describe this is you should feel cozy and not cold under the covers, but you shouldn't be able to sleep with the cover off of you because it would be too cold. Or something that I have is 8 Sleep, not a sponsor of this video, not a sponsor of me at all. But 8 Sleep, please. I would love it. I love you guys. It's so good. It controls the temperature of the mattress itself, which is tremendous. But if you just have to adjust the temperature of the room, a cold room where you feel cozy under the blanket is very, very important. Next, eat enough fats, especially mono and saturated fats. These fats are what build your hormones. Low fat to a critical level, like a bodybuilder, will have difficulty constructing hormone molecules because they don't have the foundation of the molecule itself. Next, if you lose excess body fat, the higher your body fat is, it has a negative correlation with your testosterone levels. If you reduce alcohol and cut processed junk food, if you fix vitamin and mineral deficiencies like D3, zinc, and magnesium, big one is managing stress, that your cortisol is as low as possible, as cortisol tanks testosterone. And if you ditch the plastics and endocrine disruptors, they are free, foundational, and effective. All of these things that you can implement do not cost you money. They just require a bit of discipline. And that discipline is going to go a long way to be able to improve your life. Now, whether you go a medical intervention route or not, this is sort of the foundation of what you need to think. If I'm not doing these things, I don't deserve medical intervention. I should take care of my house before I go outside of my house, so to speak, to get other help. And for a lot of guys, these lifestyle interventions can get you back to optimal. And remember, you're now eliminating all of those things that have tanked testosterone over the last 20, 30 years, so you can get back to that level that we were at 20 or 30 years ago. Let's talk about when testosterone replacement therapy does make sense. You've done the work, you've dialed in your training, your sleep, your diet, your recovery, and you still don't feel good. You still have erectile dysfunction. You still have no interest in sexual activity. You still have low energy throughout the day. You still don't sleep well. You still have poor body composition. Well, TRT could be the right move. Now, of course, you have to go to your doctor and you have to advocate for yourself, but we're talking about restoring levels to where they should be, not turning you into a superhuman. And this is where people get testosterone replacement therapy totally mixed up. And one of my big pet peeves is people who self-prescribe and self-diagnose themselves to have testosterone replacement therapy. That's just called taking steroids. If you're not doing it with a doctor, it's not prescribed, and you don't have the dose prescribed to you by a medical professional, you're just taking steroids. You can say it, you can own it, that's fine, but you're not doing this for your health because you're not tracking your health over time. If you're doing it for your health, you do it through your doctor. And hopefully you have access to a good doctor who's open to non-mainstream ways of helping you. Because frankly, the mainstream ways of helping people over the last 25 years, in Canada at least, have increased lifespan by 3 years and increased health-adjusted lifespan by 0 years. 0 years. Medical advances in the last 25 years have resulted in 0 added years of improved quality of life. Because junk food tastes good, because lifestyle is getting worse, but because doctors and the medical system is designed to keep you alive, not keep you healthy. Now, for men with clinically low testosterone or real symptoms, testosterone replacement therapy can bring back energy and drive, restore libido, improve mood and focus, help rebuild lean muscle mass, and literally give you back your life. But you need to do it right, because if you don't do it right and you choose to go about it on your own, you could have a lot of negative consequences. We're going to talk about it in a second. Now, your checklist for naturally improving testosterone, this is very, very simple. 8 hours of sleep per night, heavy weightlifting 3 times per week, prioritizing whole foods, eliminate those endocrine disruptors that I talked about, reduce your stress, thereby reducing your cortisol, and optimize your vitamin D. All of those will be positive impacts on your testosterone, regardless of if you choose to take testosterone or not. Now, if TRT is something that you think you need, go through a legit medical provider. No questions asked. You could have severe infections, severe problems, severe dosing issues if you order from an underground gear website or some random website or some random guy who you met, and some sketchy clinic offering a miracle stack is probably not going to be your answer. Safe testosterone replacement therapy options. There are a variety of safe testosterone replacement therapy options, from injections to creams to pills. And whatever you need is going to be prescribed to you safely by medical professionals. And you'll need regular blood work to monitor hematocrit, estradiol, PSA, your blood pressure, your cholesterol. Because testosterone replacement therapy is a long-term commitment that you have to treat with respect, because there are considerable side effects of TRT. TRT is not risk-free. Here are the side effects that a lot of people experience. You've got acne or oily skin. You've got hair thinning if you're prone to baldness. You've got testicular shrinkage. You have reduced sperm count. You have elevated red blood cells, which raise blood pressure, make your blood thicker, making you more prone to seizures and blood clots. You gain an estrogen imbalance because excess testosterone is converted to estrogen, leading to mood swings, water retention. And most of these are manageable so long as you monitor and you take a dose that's prescribed to you. But again, this is why you need a real doctor in your corner. And the largest downside to testosterone replacement therapy is once you start taking exogenous testosterone, your natural testosterone will start to shut down, meaning that your TRT is a lifetime commitment. And I return to the point, if you can improve your lifestyle first, that's going to be the best thing that you could possibly do so that you're not medically required to take something over a long period of time. And there's no badge of honor for taking extra something because your body can't produce it, especially if you could encourage your body to produce it through lifestyle intervention. Now, something that's really not talked about much is this is not just for men. Women and testosterone is a real thing. Now, of course, they have very, very low levels, but something nobody talks about is that women produce testosterone too, but just in much smaller amounts. And it has much of the same effect on them as it does for us. Now, lower amounts mean that they have less muscle mass and they have less strength. They will not run as fast, et cetera, et cetera. But as women age, the testosterone levels can drop significantly, which again leads to fatigue, low libido, brain fog, mood issues, loss of lean mass, and can cause major problems, just like the tanking of estrogen once they go through menopause. Now, in very, very low, carefully managed doses, testosterone therapy can be life-changing for women as well. But the key is it must be done carefully. Even a small overdose one time can lead to unwanted side effects like voice deepening, facial hair growth, really an over-masculinization of a woman. But when done right, female testosterone therapy is one of the most underrated tools in hormone optimization for women. Even doctors who are pro-estrogen and have come back on board after that overblown study, they really underappreciate the amount that testosterone can improve a woman's life as well. Now, if you're feeling off, you're feeling tired, depressed, weak, unmotivated, and you've ruled out any other issues and you've improved your lifestyle and you still have those issues, then maybe TRT is a good solution for you. But don't guess, because guessing is just throwing shit at a wall and seeing if it sticks. And if it doesn't stick, you're now dependent on testosterone forever. And you have elevated testosterone, leading to all of those side effects I listed before. So get tested, fix your lifestyle, and if nothing improves, then TRT could be the tool that you need. Both for men and for women, hormone optimization isn't about chasing aesthetics, at least not in this case. It's about reclaiming your life. It's about having more energy, and it's about living to the fullest for as long as you can. Drop a comment below if you're thinking about TRT or you have any personal experience you'd like to share, either good or bad, with the process. Thank you guys very much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until tomorrow, lift heavy and be kind.